Hello, high level listeners. We're here for episode 10 of our newest podcast from High Level Listening. Wow, I can't believe that we've already done 10 episodes. We've gotten such overwhelming support from all of you guys that we're so excited to be here and we can't wait to continue on for many more lessons after this. So, in our last episode, we chatted about going out to dinner with friends. So, if you didn't catch that last one, we highly recommend it. That was episode 9. And today we'll be talking about going out for drinks with some friends. Now, when I say going out for some drinks, we're usually going to go to a bar or Mark might go to a pub. So, let's check it out together. Before we get into our latest episode, allow us to introduce ourselves. We're High Level Listening, and we're here to bring you fun, conversational, and cultural English classes to take your English skills to the next level. We're Kat and Mark, two English teachers who were tired of trying to find high quality listening and speaking practice for our students, so we decided to make our own. I'm Kat, the American voice here on High Level Listening. I like helping students feel comfortable and confident in casual and easygoing conversation. So you can sound more relaxed in English.
And I'm Mark, the British voice here on High Level Listening. I'll try to give you insights into British culture, as well as vocabulary and expressions that you're more likely to hear in the UK. So if you're planning on living in the UK or are more interested in British culture, yep, hopefully I can give you some phrases or words that will help you understand the locals and fit in with everybody else. So this episode will follow our usual format. We're going to talk about going out for drinks with your friends. We're going to read a short passage about our usual experience having drinks with our friends, and then Kat will read one, I'll read mine. The meanings of both scripts will be quite similar, but Kat's will use more American phrases, and mine will use more British phrases. Afterwards, we'll break them down, look at interesting vocabulary or phrases, explain them, talk about them a little bit more, so you can use them when you talk about drinking with your friends. So I will ask Kat the question: what do you usually do when you go out for drinks with your friends?
If we don't have time for a full dinner, I do really like meeting our friends up for a drink somewhere like a nice bar or a quieter, more chilled out place, maybe with some live music. Honestly, I think I'm getting older because I used to go to the dive bars with the loud music more often, but now I don't really enjoy myself as much since I'd rather be in a place where I can actually talk to my friends. I'm a big fan of beer, so if there's a local beer on tap, I often opt for that. If I'm not really in a drinking mood, I'd probably still go out to meet up with them, but I'd just probably order a soft drink and sip on that instead. All right, so I have kind of my style all finished, and I'm going to ask Mark the same thing. What do you usually do when you go out for drinks with your friends?
If we don't have time for a proper sit down meal, then I usually enjoy catching up with my mates over a pint at a pub or a more lively spot, perhaps with a bit of live music. Although these days, I think we're all getting on a bit, so we'd rather be nattering with each other somewhere quieter where we can actually hear each other. I'm quite keen on ales, so if there's a local brew on tap, I'll likely go for that. But if I don't fancy drinking anything alcoholic, I'm still up for going out and just sticking to lemonade or Coke and just enjoying the company.
All right, excellent. So we had kind of our side by side English. We had the American version and we had our British version. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to break down these sentences basically line by line. We're going to get you some of the best and most interesting expressions, and we're going to explain them for you.
So, Kat, do you like going out for drinks?
If we don't have time for a full dinner or it's a little bit later in the evening, I still really like meeting our friends up for a drink somewhere. So, if we don't have time for a full dinner, now if Usually, dinner time is probably going to be anywhere from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. But if it's later in the evening or we don't really have time for that kind of thing, I still really like meeting our friends up for a drink somewhere. Now, meeting up with friends or meeting friends, we can use both. Why do we say meeting up with our friends, meeting our friends up for a drink? Why do we use this word up? In American English, and believe me, in British English as well, we love phrasal verbs. Okay. We love those extra little words. And basically, in this sentence, they mean the same thing. But when I'm going to meet up with someone, it sounds a little more casual and a little bit more friendly. At work, I might meet someone for a drink, meet someone for lunch. That sounds almost professional. And that's a good time to use that. But if I'm meeting my friends up or meeting them up somewhere, that all of a sudden makes it more casual. What do you think, Mark? How do you kind of feel about adding the word up?
Mm. No, I think it's true. If you just say meet, I'm going to meet them for lunch. It sounds like you have something you want to talk about, maybe something serious, or you're going to talk about work. But if I were going to meet up for lunch, that sounds like you just want to have fun. It sounds more casual, like you just want to enjoy yourself. So, up, meet up, definitely makes it a bit more casual. I think that's true in the UK, and that sounds like it's true for the US as well.
Absolutely. So, a quick and easy sentence would be, "Hey, do you want to meet up for a drink? Do you want to meet up for dinner? Do you want to meet up for a coffee?" So, that's a pretty simple sentence that you can use to invite your friends out to meet you up somewhere. What about you, Mark? Do you like going out for drinks?
If we don't have the time for a proper sit down meal, then I really enjoy catching up with mates over a pint. A few things we'll highlight here. A proper sit down. So, if you go to a restaurant, you will sit down at a table. And because it's a restaurant, you might have one, two, or three courses. So, you're going to sit there for a longer time. So, a proper sit down is a full meal in a restaurant. So, it's usually a social meeting, like you're having dinner together. A proper sit down. That could be 1 or 2 hours where you spend time together. You could be just chatting, or you could be eating in a restaurant as well. You might hear, "We haven't had a proper sit down in ages.
Mm,
Let's
mhm.
have lunch soon." So, a proper sit down is time where you spend time with your friends, talking and really catching up for a couple of hours, maybe. Not just a quick 5 or 10 minutes and then off. A proper sit down. But yeah, sometimes me and my friends are busy and we don't have time for a proper sit down meal. So, I enjoy catching up with mates over a pint. So the preposition is funny. Over a pint. Imagine we are sitting at a bar or in a pub. I will put my pint on the table. So my head is literally over the pint. And I'm going to talk to you over my drink. So I guess that's why we say over a pint.
Yeah, I like
Works
that.
for other drinks. Yeah, right. Over wine, over beer, over dinner, because your food is on the table too. So, yeah, if you catch up over a pint, it means you are drinking beer and chatting to each other. I perhaps should have explained pint. Pint is one of the most important words you need to know for British culture.
Yes, and in British English for sure.
For sure. Yes. A pint is always beer. A pint of beer. It's never anything else like
Pint of milk?
whiskey.
No?
Oh yeah, pint of milk. Yeah, I guess. Oh yeah, it is.
Only
But
if you'd be buying that at the store, right?
that's
I
true.
need a pint of milk, but a pint would be kind of small for milk most of the time.
Right. Yeah, if I'm in a pub or a bar and I order a pint, it will
Mhm.
be a glass pint of beer. That's about half a liter usually. Yeah, it's 1 pint, 2 pints. So you can order 2 pints, please. 2 pints of lager. And you can even ask your friends, your British friends, do you want a pint? Do you want to go out for a pint? A pint means a beer. Do you want to go out for a beer? So, yeah, you might have some pints after work, a few pints, a few beers, and then go home. Okay, so the UK and the US both have quite different places to drink. Where do you usually go for drinks?
Somewhere like a nice bar or a quieter, more chilled out place, maybe with some live music. A nice bar would be a place that's clean, has lots of items on the menu for different styles of drinks, a nice bar, or a quieter, more chilled out place. If a place is chilled out, that's somewhere that's relaxed with a nice atmosphere, chilled out, chilled out. You can arrive there, grab a drink, sit down, and just enjoy yourself. It doesn't have pounding music. It doesn't have people getting crazy everywhere. It's just chilled out. It's just chilled out. It's probably got some quieter music or some a little bit more chill style of music. And if we can, I would love to have some live music. Live music, not live music, but live music means that the real band or the singer or the player is sitting right there, standing right there, and playing music for you right then, right there. So, of course, we have, music playing in the background. Of course, they might put on Spotify or a playlist or something like that. But I love when there's a live band. I like when, there's someone on guitar playing something really nice or there's a whole band kind of getting together. Yeah, it can get a bit loud with the live band, but it's always much more enjoyable for me to watch somebody play while we're drinking. Oh, what about you? Where do you usually go for drinks? In America, we often go to a bar or we go to a restaurant that has a bar. What about you?
Mm. I really enjoy catching up with mates over a pint at a pub or more lively spot, perhaps with a bit of live music. So, live music too. If you go to the UK, yeah, you may find pubs or places to drink with a band, and they will play on the side. That's live music. Some pubs are quite famous for their live music, and people go there expecting live music because it has that reputation. I talked about this in the previous episode, but a pub is a great place in the UK. There are millions of pubs, and they have just alcohol. So you can go to a pub if you just want to drink, but a lot of them have quite nice food. So you can go there, drink, and eat as well. They have large meals, a proper restaurant serving nice food. So it's like a restaurant. It can be a restaurant if you want, or it can be a bar if you want. It's both. It's a pub.
Would
Yeah.
you would you consider that pubs are family friendly? Because I feel like when I say the word bar, that immediately means 21 and up.
Mm,
It's not okay, so it's becoming more and more popular to take kids maybe out on a Sunday to a brewery, which is a place where you can get beer during the day. But I think of that as more of a pub atmosphere, whereas the bar feels adults only, pretty much.
mm. Yeah, that's a good distinction. In a pub, yeah, children can come in. Obviously, they can't drink if they're
Yeah.
under 18, but yeah, pubs will
The
often
drinking
have
age
a
is different as
right.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, so a pub menu will also have a kids menu. So they're
Mm,
prepared to serve food to children. Yeah, you can bring your dog in if it's the right pub. Many pubs have a garden in the back, so if the weather is nice, yeah, it's full of families, and yeah, I think it is more open like that. Yeah, when you say a bar, I think of adults only,
yeah,
only open at night as
pretty
well,
much. I
whereas
mean,
pubs are open from like
usually
10.
in a restaurant, there's usually a bar area. Now,
Mm,
during the day, we wouldn't really stop kids from sitting at the bar, but there would come a certain time, maybe around 6, 7 p.m., that it would be better for kids and families to sit in the restaurant side and not on the bar side. Because once like that's kind of why we go to the bar is because it's 21 and up, pretty much adults only.
Mm. Yeah, right. Yeah, I think that's a good description of a pub. Sometimes it's hard to describe a pub, but yeah, I think we
Because
both
there's so
get that.
many kind of different kinds for
Yeah,
sure.
right. Um, anyway, in terms of your atmosphere, do you like it when it's lively and there's lots of music and noise?
I mean, honestly, I think I'm getting older because I used to go to the dive bars with the loud music, but now I don't really enjoy myself as much. But when I say I think I'm getting older, we sort of associate, when you're young, newly 21, that you really want to go out and party, loud music, go to the cheap dive bars with the loud music. A dive bar, I still have a soft spot for dive bars. Dive bars are basically cheap, simple, sometimes not the cleanest bars that offer incredibly cheap drinks. Oh, they're popular with college students, newly 21, people who just want to go grab a cheap beer or get something really cheap and then maybe just go home after that. It's a dive bar. I think of them as quite dark as well. So if you ever go to a dive bar and it's still light outside, there's almost no light inside. You don't want to see how dirty this bar is inside. I know it doesn't sound great, but believe me, I have a soft spot for dive bars.
I'm imagining sticky floors. Like when you
Yeah.
walk in, your feet stick to the floor. You can
Mhm.
hear it because so much alcohol gets spilled. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a dive
Yeah.
bar.
Definitely. What do you prefer? Do you prefer a more lively bar?
These days, I think we're all getting on a bit. So we'd rather be nattering with each other somewhere quieter where we can actually hear each other. So there's a good British phrase, maybe it's in the States as well, getting on a bit.
Oh, getting on a bit. Yes. The
Mm.
nattering, no. But
Ah, yes.
yeah, he's getting on a bit. He's got it
If you
getting on a bit. Just a nice way to say you're getting older, right?
Yeah, if he's getting on a bit, then you're getting older. And yeah, it implies that you are not so young anymore. You don't have the energy to keep drinking until 2 or 3 in the
Mm.
morning. You don't want to dance, and you get tired more quickly. So maybe you go home before 12. So if you're getting on a bit, then yeah, it's a fun way to joke about yourself getting a bit older. The most British word in this phrase is natter. Nattering with each other. Nattering means talking, talking or chatting. Natter, nattering with your friends, is talking very casually. We're talking about nothing serious. The weather, sports, the football, the news. Yeah, we're not having intense or very emotional discussions. We're just nattering. It's quite a surface level chat. So it's the kind of chat you have when you drink and you just want to have fun and make jokes.
Absolutely. And similarly, I'd rather be in a place where I can actually talk to my friends and try to catch up a bit.
Mhm.
So instead of the loud music, where, I mean, if you are going out to have some drinks with your friends and then all you do is just yell, what do you
Mm.
want to drink? I don't know, the music's so loud. Then
Mhm.
what was the point of inviting your friends out? So, yeah, okay, okay, I am getting a bit older, but I would actually like to talk to my friends and attempt to catch up a bit.
Right. There's nothing worse when you're in a bar and it's quiet, then a band walks in and they start setting up the drums and someone pulls out a guitar and you're like, no, now the music's going to start and I can't hear my friends anymore. That's how I know I'm getting on a bit.
So, what do
Okay.
you normally like to drink when you head out to the pub or go out with some friends?
I'm quite keen on ales. So if there's a local brew on tap, likely go for that. So I'm quite keen on. I'm quite keen on means I quite like it. If I'm keen on it, I like it. I'm keen on ales, I'm keen on lagers, I'm keen on beer, I'm keen on cocktails. You can use it for drinks, sports, games, hobbies, all kinds of things. But yeah, I'm quite keen on ales. If you go to a British pub, you're more likely to find ales, which are a different type of beer, the older traditional type of beer.
Hmm.
It's quite low in alcohol. Sometimes it's only 2 or 3%. It's also a bit cheaper. I don't always like it, but some nice local ales can be really good. Local brews and local ales. So if my city has a brewery, a place where they make beer, I'll try that to, support local businesses and support the local economy. And I'll go for that. I'll choose that. I will look at the different options at the bar and I can say, I'll go for a pint of ale, please. Or I'll go for a gin and tonic. You can also use it for food. I'll go for the fish and chips, please. So that's a nice way, a casual way to order things in bars. How about you? What do you like to drink?
So I'm a big fan of beer. So if there's a local beer on tap, I often opt for that. So I kind of said what you did. I like this. So if I see this, I'll choose that. All right. That's kind of basically what my sentence means. I'm a big fan of something. I'm a big fan of beer. I'm a big fan of reading. I'm a big fan of going out. So if you're a big fan of something, just like when you cheer for your favorite sports team and you're a fan, you can also say that for other activities as well. That just means that we really like them. I'm a
Mhm.
big fan of beer. I really like beer.
Yeah.
If there's a local beer on tap. Now, you can always get a bottle or a can of beer, but I prefer when it's on tap. On tap means that it's in a large keg and it's going to go up through a tube and it's going to be poured from a machine into a glass cup, like Mark gets a pint.
Mhm.
And when it's poured into the glass cup, for me, it tastes really fresh. I quite like that. So if there's a local beer on tap, I often opt for that. Opt for that. Opt for that. I
Mm.
often choose that, or that's what I would go for. Just like Mark said, that's what I would go for. While Mark said he's keen on something, we would often say, yeah, I'm keen, but that means, like, I'd like to do that, but we don't usually say keen on something in American English. So I
Mm.
would say, yeah, I'm keen. We can do that. But I'm keen on something, not as common as saying something like, oh, I'm really into this, or I'm a big fan of this, or yeah, I really like that.
Mm. I often hear it in the negative. If you don't like something, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not keen on. Mm, I'm not keen on hiking. Like I don't like doing that.
And a nice
Or
way to say, "No, I hate hiking."
yeah, right.
"Oh,
It's a
I'm not
soft.
really keen on that." Yeah,
Yeah, if
no.
someone invites you to the cinema to watch a horror film, you're like, I'm not keen on horror films. Can we watch something else? So yeah, it's a nice way to say you don't like something, and it doesn't sound too strong or too harsh.
Mhm. So, we have been talking a lot about going out for drinks with friends. I would definitely say in America and in the UK that alcohol is probably the number one thing you're going out for. Now, of course, it's becoming more and more popular, and there's a lot of people out there who don't drink alcohol. So, let's talk a little bit about what if you don't want to drink alcohol, but you still want to go out with your friends? What do you do in this situation, Mark?
If I don't fancy anything alcoholic, I'm still up for going out and just sticking to lemonade or Coke and just enjoying the company. So if I don't fancy anything alcoholic. We used the word fancy in the last episode to talk
We
about a
did. Hmm.
fancy restaurant. But that describes a restaurant. A fancy restaurant's an expensive one. In this sentence, I don't fancy. Fancy is a verb. To fancy something is to want something. If I look at a menu and the menu has a picture of a delicious meal, I'm like, ooh, yeah, I fancy that. Like, I want that. That looks great. We often use fancy in the UK, especially as a very casual invitation. If you want to invite someone somewhere and want to be friendly about it, do you fancy going out for a drink? Do you fancy seeing that new movie? Or if you don't want to do something, you can also use it in the negative. I don't fancy drinking tonight. So in my case, I don't fancy anything alcoholic means on that day, I don't want it. Maybe I'm driving my car, so I shouldn't. Maybe I'm just tired and I don't want to. Maybe I have an early morning, so I don't want to. I don't fancy anything alcoholic. But I'm still up. I'm still keen. I'm still interested. I'm still up for going out and sticking to lemonade or Coke. If I stick to lemonade, I only drink lemonade. If I stick to Coke, I only drink Coke. No beer, no ales, no cocktails, nothing. Maybe I want to avoid alcohol again. You could say, if you have your drink and somebody says, "Do you want a beer?" Say, "Oh, no, no, I'm sticking to Coke tonight. Thanks."
Yeah, and then I probably wouldn't ask you if you wanted a beer again. I would be like, "Oh, okay, do you want another Coke?" So then I would know that you're not switching to alcohol at any time. So, yeah, if you're sticking to Coke, I respect that. I'll get you a Coke.
Yes. What do you say in the States if you don't want to drink?
So, if I'm not really in a drinking mood, I'd probably still go out to meet up with my friends, but I just probably order a soft drink and sip on that instead. We have a few phrases here. If I'm not really in a drinking mood, we'll talk about this in just a little bit, but a drinking mood, when we usually refer to drinking, we're talking about drinking alcohol. So if I'm not really in a drinking mood, I don't want a beer, I don't want any of the mixed drinks or anything. I'll probably still go out to meet up with my friends, but I just probably order a soft drink. A soft drink. Well, in America, we have soft drinks, which are non alcoholic, and hard drinks that are alcoholic. You might have seen something like a hard lemonade or a hard iced tea. Those are kind of new brand names that are coming out, and that means alcoholic lemonade, alcoholic iced tea. So, soft drinks, if you ever see that listed under beverages, soft drinks have no alcohol. They're like Coke or Sprite. Then, if I'm just going to sip on that instead, when I sip, I'm just taking a little drink. Okay. Drinking, just drinking it, but just
No.
sip on that instead.
Mm. Yeah, you can definitely use that in the UK. Maybe if you go out and you only want one drink and you limit yourself, you can sip on your drink and make it last longer. So you can
Absolutely.
drive home. But yeah, as Kat mentioned, the word drink. Do you drink means do you drink alcohol?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting phrase because it's just evolved. We don't like the word alcohol. We don't like to say alcoholic. So we sometimes use boozy, we sometimes use things like that, but we've actually just shortened it. So if I just ask you in the present tense, "Hey, Mark, do you drink?"
Right. Yeah, sometimes at the weekends, like I drink beer or something at the weekends or once or twice during the week. Yeah, same. You can use the phrase fancy from earlier. Do you fancy a drink?
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
not asking you for water or lemonade.
Or
I,
coffee or
yeah,
tea.
not coffee, not even tea. Do you fancy a drink? Is do you fancy something alcoholic? Anything you
Hmm.
like. Because it's near the end of the year at the time of this video, after Christmas and New Year's, a lot of people quit alcohol just for January, the
Oh,
first
yeah.
month, and let
Dry
their body.
January.
Yeah, it's called dry January, but maybe you'll hear people say, "Oh, yeah, I'm not drinking this month."
Hmm.
Obviously, they are drinking water and they're drinking coffee
Hmm.
to stay alive, but they're not drinking alcohol. But
Right.
they'll say, "Yeah, I'm not drinking this January. I need to recover."
Now, of course, there are people who simply don't drink. Okay. And that simply means that they don't drink alcohol.
Mm,
Maybe that's completely their choice. So if someone asks you, hey, you want to go out for a drink? Do you fancy a drink? And you don't really feel comfortable with going out to a bar or a pub or a place with alcohol, you can say, I don't really drink. Do you want to meet up for a coffee instead?
mm,
So that's very easy to work around, or say, "Oh, I don't really drink, but I'll go and have a soda. I'll go and have a soft drink." And
mm,
then it just kind of makes sure that nobody tries to buy you a drink when you arrive,
mhm,
because man, when I went to the UK, Mark's friends went straight to the went to the bar, got a whole round of drinks for the table. And whatever
mhm,
it is, you just start drinking it. I was impressed. I was
mhm.
impressed by that.
We assume you drink
Yes.
until you tell us you
Right.
don't drink. If you
Mhm.
don't say anything, we will assume you drink alcohol. And, people are not offended or upset if you don't drink. I think nowadays people are becoming more and more used to people not drinking for their health or for whatever reason. So, yeah, don't be afraid to tell a British person, I don't drink, and you don't
And
have to be afraid.
we say the same things. I don't really drink. I'm not really drinking right now. So a lot of people would take a break from drinking, or maybe, I'm just tired of drinking. It's not good for my health. I'm not really drinking right now. That is such a simple, easy way to say, I'm not drinking alcohol. No thanks. But it's such an easy way. I'm not really drinking alcohol right now. I'm not really drinking right now. I'm okay. I don't drink. I'm okay. I'm not drinking tonight. These all mean I'm not going to have the alcoholic beverages. I'm just going to sit here with my lemonade or something non-alcoholic.
Mhm. Okay, well, there you go. That wraps up episode 10. Nice.
Whoa.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing milestone, made even better by all the lovely comments and all the feedback we've been getting from YouTube. So thank you to everybody who's commented on our most recent videos or even old ones. We read all the comments that we receive and we reply to basically all of them. If you've heard anything in this episode, a phrase, or we said something and didn't explain it that much, you can always ask us a question in the comments and we'll reply to you, break it down a bit more, and give you some more examples. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's subscribed to us so far. And we look forward to making more videos very, very, very soon.
And we also wanted to mention that we have started a new membership system here on YouTube. And if you'd like to become a member, we have some extra perks for you. If you would like the PDF transcript of every single little word that we say during our episodes, we now have 10 transcripts for all 10 of our podcast episodes, and they are extra for members only. So check out the membership tab, and we'll post it as well in our community, and we'll take your studying to the next level. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you for our very next episode.
Bye bye.